This video response is going to go out to BLBF Pictures, and that is because you uploaded a video entitled Speak Up. And the first thing is that if I was running a production company, I wouldn't call it the Broken Light Bulb Production Company. And why? Because many modern day light bulbs contain mercury, and if they shatter, you don't want to be around them, and for obvious reasons. That's just me. The next thing you do is you present a quote by a Harvey Samuel Firestone. Now, that's all great and wonderful that you presented the quote. However, I would have presented more information about this gentleman, because after all, he was the founder of the Firestone Tire and Rubber Company, and he was born in Columbia, Ohio. Anyway, the next thing you show is a teenage young lady, and somehow she is able to acquire prescription medication from a medicine cabinet in a bathroom. Now, if it were me, now I have friends right now that have teenage kids, and my experiences with them would tell me one thing. I would never leave prescription medication in such a place where teenage kids could easily acquire it, for two reasons. Number one, there are kids out there who seem to think that if they could acquire that kind of medication, they could sell it on the black market for a profit. Not a good idea. Number two is what you showed on your presentation. For those two reasons, what I would do is I would buy a portable fireproof safe. I would put my medications in it, I'd lock them up, and I would take the keys with me wherever I went. That way the kids couldn't get a hold of the keys. Furthermore, if I knew I had a kid that was having emotional problems of any kind, no matter what they would be, either I would remove every single lock off of every interior door of my house, or I would keep a set of keys with me to every single door in the house. Therefore, what happened in the presentation would never have happened. Anyway, the next scene you show a bunch of kids, they're together, they do finally introduce themselves, but they give us very little information about themselves. I think more character development needed to be done on this presentation. That's just me. And then the next thing you show is these girls, and they are drawing pictures and writing hateful words on pieces of paper and giving them to the intended victim. Now, here's a message for the intended victim. Keep in mind that when bullies do this, okay, these types of bullies are shallow, immature, egotistical, and they have way too much time on their hands. That should be a very big time comfort to you. Think of all the character flaws they have that are causing them to bully you. It takes the sting out of what they're doing to you. It really does. So hopefully that'll help you out. Keep in mind that if these people do not change their behavior, and soon, one of two things will happen to them. Either they will start picking on somebody bigger than they are and get hurt worse than what they do to you, or they'll eventually end up on the unemployment lines. Either way, you win, and you don't even have to throw a punch. Isn't that nice? Now then, if you truly are disturbed by what they're doing, you can do one of two things. First, I suppose you could stand there and keep a collection of all these notes and all these drawings and everything else, put them in a manila envelope, and wait until a major school board meeting, and then present the whole thing and put the spotlight on these bullies once and for all. You could do that. Of course, you could also create a world of trouble for yourself doing that, but you could technically do that. Bullies do hate spotlights, and when you draw them out in the open like that, they don't like that too much. That's one thing they don't like. They could care less if you beat the tar out of them, but if you do that to them, there you go. Now, that is one way to solve the problem, but there is another solution that doesn't involve dragging them out in the spotlight at all, and it's just as effective, and it's a better solution as far as I'm concerned. First, learn the art of speed reading. Then, speed read The Memory Book by Harry Lorayne. Apply these skills with your speed reading, and then what I want you to do is I want you to come to my main channel page. I want you to go through all of my playlists and memorize every single bit and piece of information on them. Why? Because they have these things called advanced placement courses, and if you learn all of that information, you'll be able to get your grades high enough where they will throw you into an advanced placement course. Usually bullies will not take the time and will not go to the trouble of trying to match your intelligence. That's too much trouble for them. So the bully's in one classroom, you're in the other, and your problems are solved, and you don't have to do a thing. See what I mean? It's a much better way to solve these kind of problems. So forget what you saw in this not my presentation, but in their presentation. Forget what you saw in that film. And do things the way I tell you. It'll work a lot better for you. And if you need any assistance, I'm always here to help. I speak about this because I speak from personal experience. I have been bullied. I was bullied for 8 solid years. From the 5th grade to my senior year, I was bullied. So I'm telling you from personal experience, this is the best solution I could come up with. Hopefully I have helped you out. Definitely putting yourself in peril will not solve your problems. Guaranteed. That is not the way to go. It makes more problems than it solves. Trust me. Besides, if you allow yourself to be put in that much peril because of them, they win. Do you really want them to win? You win. You do what I tell you and you will win. And I'll walk you every step of the way. Alright. I will tell you more in a future video. Stay tuned.